I have been to 5 different continents over the past 2 years, but for the first time ever, I'm heading into the unknown on a journey to Asia and tackling a country that I know very little about, the great nation of China. China is so big and so bizarre that I was a little bit intimidated at the thought of visiting, but the nerves disappeared the moment I landed and saw how developed, diverse, and forward-thinking the Chinese people are. It also helped to have Shane Keller of Utah Air Guns joining me on this adventure. Shane had been to China before and assured me that we'd have a great time, and as you'll see in this video and the videos to follow, we certainly make some memories of a lifetime. So while I'm waiting for Shane, who arrives basically 3 hours after me, I've had to keep myself entertained and keep myself awake, and I found some sort of Western restaurants, Burger King, McDonald's, Starbucks. So obviously got myself a cappuccino and got myself some food. I've got some caffeine in my system now, feeling much better. And now it's just a matter of waiting for Shane. So in the meantime, got a couple hours. I'm going to walk around and just explore this place a bit and see if I can figure out how to get to Terminal 1 where Shane is, so I can pick him up, and then we're on our way to Nantong. Shane arrived safely, and after another quick cup of coffee, we jumped in the car and headed to our hotel 2 hours from the Shanghai airport. Well, it's about 10:30 p.m. and we've just arrived at the hotel. I must say I'm really impressed. It's a really nice hotel. For the money, it's a lot nicer than what you'd pay for a hotel in South Africa. My room should be somewhere around here. So here we go, 1002. Ooh, goodness me, this is nice. I do not remember booking a giant mansion. Nice king size bed, really nice, and city of Nantong out there. And again, you can't see it, but there's some big skyscrapers out there. So settling in, so good to be here. So, first morning here in Nantong, China. Beautiful weather outside. I woke up this morning to a nice view of the city of Nantong. It's weird, it's like you've got these cities in China that you never knew existed, and then you find out there's like 7 million people living there. It just shows the scale of the place. It's cool to be on the Yangtze River as well. It's the third longest river in the world. So, pretty cool to wake up to these views, but we've got some work to do today. Going downstairs now, meeting with Shane for breakfast, and then being picked up at 9. So yeah, got to get going, got to focus, but good to be in China. The first thing about China that blew my mind when I arrived was the amount of money that the government had clearly poured into infrastructure. We saw brand new roads, bridges and buildings everywhere, and it's clear that China is taking over the world very quickly. We didn't want to dwell too much on the scale of the new buildings though. We wanted to see some of the history of the area, so we decided to take a boat tour on a historic old river and make the most of the awesome weather. One thing I noticed that surprised me was that there was no litter anywhere. Everything seemed well kept, and there was a good mix of old and new architecture. China gets a lot of flack for air pollution, but the truth is that the US is responsible for way more pollution per capita than China. The air pollution is only more noticeable in China because of the massive urban populations in these big cities. We saw a bridge made of rice, which is really interesting, and some buildings that would make you feel like you were in Europe somewhere. It actually reminded me a little bit of Moscow, and that might make some sense considering that China and Russia have been communist buddies for so many decades. In the afternoon, Shane and I took a walk down to the Yangtze River, and it was quite a sight to behold. The scale of the river itself is amazing, but what really blew my mind was the number of ships on the river. This gives an indication of just how many goods are being transported in and out of China, and it backs up the statistics that show China completely dominating the rest of the world when it comes to trade and exports. The bridge in the background will be the highest cable stay bridge in the world when it's complete, and also one of the longest at over 11,000 meters. That's pretty crazy. To finish off an awesome day, we headed downtown to a mall for dinner. The neon lights and buildings along the main street reminded me a little bit of the Las Vegas Strip, and that brings me to my last point in this video. China does not feel like a communist country. Yes, China is led by a communist party and perhaps the government is a little bit controlling, but if you ask local businessmen about the leadership, they tell you that the government has led the country into a new era of financial prosperity, and although rural areas may look like they're stuck in poverty, more and more people are finding well-paying jobs and enjoying a first-world lifestyle. The people are incredibly hard-working. The lower class doesn't have a victim mentality. They know that opportunities are out there for them to grab, and that's why China is enjoying such prosperity. It was a short one today, more of an introduction to my Asian adventure in the episodes to follow. In the next one, we are going to Shanghai to see some of the coolest urban spaces and skyscrapers you'll ever see before climbing on a plane and heading to Japan. Once again, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe if you'd like to stay notified of uploads, and I'll see you next time.